At this point, who needs a race weekend when we have teams like Red Bull and Alpine giving us all the entertainment we need? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a non-race weekend, but as it seems to be a trend this year, when we don't have racing, we have a lot of drama. So let's get into this. Earlier this week, it was announced that Franco Colapinto would take Jack Doohan's place as a driver for Alpine. This came as a surprise to literally no one. Everyone saw this coming since it was announced in January that Franco had signed a multi-year contract with Alpine. But the interesting thing is that the official swap happened the day after Oliver Oakes announced his official resignation as team principal for Alpine, which means that now Flavio Briatore is going to take his place as team principal. Now, this announcement wasn't really surprising to me either. I didn't really expect Oliver Oakes to last the entire year as a team principal, mainly to do with the fact that throughout the season, him and Flavio Briatore have been constantly headbutting each other and contradicting each other in the press. And so I assumed, and I think many other people did, that this resignation had to do with the driver swap and Flavio Briatore sort of giving him an ultimatum. Either you resign or I fire you. But as it seems to be, there is a lot more happening behind the scenes. So let's dive in. To understand Oliver Oakes' resignation, we have to revisit his involvement in Hitech Grand Prix, which is a British motorsports team that is involved in Formula 3, Formula 2, and Formula 1 Academy. His involvement in the team was pivotal in developing young talent that eventually ended up in Formula 1, like George Russell, Liam Lawson, Jack Doohan, and Paul Aaron. Although Hitech was actually founded in 2002 by Dennis Russian and David Hale, it was relaunched as Hitech Grand Prix by Oliver Oakes in 2015, and it actually turned into one of the top teams in the lower categories of the sport. Now in 2016, 1 year after this company was relaunched, Hitech Grand Prix secured a significant investment from Russian oligarch Dmitry Mazepin. Some of you may know Dmitry Mazepin as the father of former Formula 1 driver Nikita Mazepin, or as some people like to refer to him as Mazespin. And the investment coincided with Nikita joining the team as a driver. Dmitry Mazepin founded a Cyprus-based investment company called Spartan Management Ltd, with which he acquired a substantial stake in Hitech, and he eventually held around 75% ownership of the team. Following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, the UK government imposed sanctions over several Russian nationals, including Dmitry Mazepin, which meant that Dmitry Mazepin had to relinquish his ownership of the company. And only 3 days after this happened, Oliver Oakes founded his own company called Hitech Global Holdings Ltd, which led to a lot of questions in the UK Parliament regarding how effective these sanctions over the Russians were. In June 2023, Hitech announced its intentions to join Formula 1 for the 2026 season. However, the FIA rejected this application due to concerns regarding the involvement of the Mazepin family in the company. There were a lot of allegations going around that the Mazepin family was still indirectly funding Hitech, which raised some red flags for the FIA. After the unsuccessful bid to join Formula 1 with Hitech, Oliver Oakes joined Alpine Formula 1 as team principal in August of 2024. And reports indicate that he brought with him several key members of Hitech with him to Alpine, including Paul Aaron as a reserve driver. Many people saw this as a way of him trying to replicate what Hitech would have been in Formula 1 and possibly try to buy Alpine in the future. Further fueling the speculation that Oliver Oakes was acting as a proxy for the Mazepin family was that Dmitry Mazepin was seen in the Alpine garage during the Bahrain pre-season testings. Neither the FIA nor Formula 1 were able to confirm who allowed Dmitry Mazepin to be there, and Alpine as a company even denied giving him access. But the whole situation is a bit strange. This whole situation culminated last weekend during the Miami Grand Prix. On Thursday, May 1st, Oliver Oakes' brother, William Oakes, who, might I add, is a director at Hitech, was arrested at Silverstone Park charged with transferring criminal property, and he was also found with what is said to be a large amount of cash. On Saturday, May 3rd, William Oakes showed up in court and he was remained in custody. Here's where a little bit more of the speculation comes in, but Oliver Oakes was supposed to have media engagements Sunday after the race. However, he canceled all of this due to a change in travel plans. At the beginning of the week, everyone assumed that this was because he wanted to meet with Jack Doohan and tell him that the decision had been made for him to be replaced and that he would want to tell this to him in person. However, according to the Telegraph, Oliver Oakes actually took a flight to Dubai. Now, some people on the internet speculate that this is because Dubai is technically a non-extradition country. However, since 2008, Dubai and the UK have had a treaty regarding this, so it doesn't make sense. But the speculation is that he went to Dubai to later make his way into Russia. Anyways, regardless on where he currently is, he sort of disappeared. And on Tuesday, May the 6th, Alpine announced the official resignation of Oliver Oakes as team principal. Again, everyone assumed that this was because of the driver swap that was about to happen. The Alpine team actually stated that he resigned because of personal reasons. And now, looking back on it, having your brother getting arrested and you possibly fleeing the country does seem like a personal reason. And of course, Flavio Briatore, who is Alpine's executive advisor, stepped into the role as team principal. Whether that is permanent or temporary, that is still to be seen. Now, Flavio Briatore is also a very interesting character. He is known for his tenure at Renault Formula 1, and his career has been marked with a lot of success, but also a lot of controversy. In 2009, Flavio Briatore faced a lifetime ban from any FIA-sanctioned events due to his involvement in the 2008 Singapore Crashgate. Basically, what happened during this race is that Renault driver Nelson Piquet was allegedly told to crash his car into the wall to benefit Fernando Alonso so that he could win the race. The FIA investigation concluded that Flavio Briatore orchestrated the whole crash, which led to his indefinite ban from any FIA events. Now, I've seen a lot of people saying that Flavio Briatore has a lifetime ban in Formula 1 and he shouldn't be allowed back. However, that is not accurate. Flavio Briatore actually challenged the FIA's decision in French courts and the ban was overturned in 2010, citing that the FIA had quite a few irregularities in their disciplinary process. Basically, he got off on a technicality. And although the court's decision allowed Flavio Briatore to return to the sport, he agreed with the FIA that he would not hold any official positions in Formula 1 until 2013, which was 12 years ago. And since then, he has been slowly creeping his way back into the sports until 2024 when he became Alpine's official executive advisor. So legally, technically, he is allowed to be team principal. Doesn't mean he is the greatest person in the world, but I just wanted to clarify that. Now, going back to the announcement that was made a couple of days ago, Franco Colapinto has officially become Jack Doohan's replacement in the Alpine seat for only 5 races, apparently, and Jack Doohan is back to being a reserve driver. Now, from a human perspective, it really sucks for Jack. I really feel for him. People assuming that you're going to be replaced since before your career even started must be the worst experience in the world. And to be honest, at the beginning of the year, I thought Alpine was going to nitpick at every single thing he did and try to find an excuse to kick him out of the seat and bring Franco in. However, they didn't really have to do that because Jack did give them reasons to replace him. It wasn't just that he was a bit underwhelming in his driving or that he was crashing the car, but he was collecting penalties that were completely unnecessary and costing the team a lot of money, as well as costing him 4 points in his super license, which is crazy to do in your first 2 races. And I think Alpine actually sighed in relief when they saw the Red Bull swap happening earlier this year, because it makes them look not so bad in comparison. However, it is only 6 races. Anyways, the conclusion is that Alpine is a mess, as it always has been, it seems. I just hope that this whole situation with Oliver Oakes doesn't affect neither Franco nor Pierre in a negative way, both professionally and personally, because ultimately they are the face of Alpine. So the only thing I can say to them is good luck. I really hope that they do well next race, and I'm looking forward to it. So stay tuned for my next video, and as always, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I see you all next time.